UVA Sports Today, Cavalanche with Chris Graham. I am your host, Jeff Fife, with Chris Graham, editor of AugustaFreePress.com, covering all UVA sports and very involved, obviously, with the College World Series and UVA baseball. Had a great game last night, Chris. Virginia in a tight battle, wins in the end. What are your observations of yesterday's game?
It went a lot according to form, both for what we expected from UVA Ole Miss specifically, but also generally from the College World Series. Lots of low-scoring games, lots of close games. These 8 teams are very evenly matched, and we saw last night, of course, when it comes down to the last play of the game, UVA and Ole Miss very evenly matched. And I guess, looking ahead to Tuesday night, UVA versus TCU, maybe expect the same things.
Kirby on fire, has a phenomenal performance, doesn't get the victory. Looks like O'Connor's going to be going with Lewicki in the bullpen and not as a third starter. It's an interesting trend we're starting to see. Talk to us a little bit about O'Connor's strategy and how he's going to use the bullpen and Lewicki specifically.
Well, it could still be. I'll leave this out there that Brian O'Connor still could be thinking about using Ari Lewicki as a third starter if he doesn't use him as a reliever Tuesday night against TCU. Lewicki, you could look at that performance on Sunday night as maybe getting some work in between appearances because Virginia, with a win, plays Friday night, with a loss, plays Thursday night. Now, more likely, he probably is going Josh Sabors in the third game that UVA would play in the College World Series, but it's still possible that Lewicki, if he doesn't get used Tuesday night and Virginia wins, he could go Friday. So there are still options open, and of course, the rest of the bullpen is fresh. Whit Mayberry didn't get used, Nick Howard didn't get used. So, but I think that there is a great possibility that Virginia is masking over its middle relief issues of the past, say, 3-4 weeks by using Arnie Lewicki, a very established, very proven man out there with his 95-mile-an-hour fastball, great slider, to mask over those middle relief issues. So, still could be up in the air though.
Looks like towards the end of the game, you're getting the 7th, 8th inning. Virginia's just out hitting Ole Miss significantly, but still on the scoreboard, it was tight. Ole Miss has a fantastic defensive play in the 7th inning, saving 2 runs. There for a while, are you thinking Virginia's just getting those base runners on, but can't push them across?
After 7 innings, Virginia had left 10 on base, and Ole Miss had only left 1. Of course, they only had 2 base runners off of Kirby until the 7th inning, until the 8th inning, that is. And so they didn't have a lot of opportunities to leave guys on base. But Virginia had, several situations in that game where they were getting guys on base, just could not get that big hit. They were 1 for their first 13 with runners in scoring position. Ended up the game 2 for 14 with Mike Pappy's walk-off in the 9th inning. So, it didn't feel good, especially when Kirby then, walks the first 2 batters in the 8th inning. And
questionable.
But the second one, questionable, yes. It looked like that could have been a strike him out, throw him out very easily on that ball 4 call on the 3-2 pitch that effectively ended his night. But, it did not feel good. And then Lewicki, of course, gives up the sack bunt. It's 2nd and 3rd one out. Ole Miss is, even though they've only got 1 hit in the game to that point, they're a single up the middle away from taking a 2-1 lead. And so, that game did not feel good at that point. But then when Lewicki got out of that jam, even though UVA went quietly in the bottom of the 8th, he still felt, okay, maybe we took their best shot. Maybe the 9th inning will be ours.
And the 9th inning just happened to be ours, 23,000 in Omaha, Nebraska. And it was interesting because I was listening to some of the radio play-by-play calls that people were starting to leave in the 8th or 9th inning. So I'm not sure why you would leave if you were thinking you were going to be digging in for a long game. But Virginia comes out with some magic in the 9th. Talk to us a little bit about the sound coming off the bat and what is that? How does that carry us into the next game?
Sound off the bat was that ball sounded like a rocket shot. It sounded like it could have been a home run off the bat. Now, of course, the TD Ameritrade is not playing to home run power this week. It doesn't seem, with the wind blowing in and the humidity out there in Nebraska, not playing well. And in fact, there's not been a ball, as we're recording this podcast, not been a ball hit out of TD Ameritrade yet in this College World Series. But Pappy hit a ball as well as a ball's been hit yet in the College World Series. Because the ball is not carrying well, outfield defenses are playing much further in than they normally would, especially a guy like Pappy with 11 home runs leading the ACC. And so that ball easily got over the heads of those 2 Ole Miss outfielders and it bounced at the warning track, bounced up against the wall, and he got that game-winning double. That leads Virginia into another expected tight battle with Texas Christian, the other national seed, and still remaining in this College World Series, the number 7 national seed, and a team that's very much built like UVA. Two teams who score in the 5 to 5.5 runs per game area offensively. TCU's team ERA 2.18, Virginia's 2.29, a rare opponent for Virginia, where they actually have a better team ERA than Virginia. Virginia's slightly better fielding team. Boy, if you can expect another 2-1 game, this would be one you would expect between these two teams. Be very surprised to see a high-scoring game between these two. And what it's going to come down to most likely is who's going to play the best small ball, who's going to pitch the best, and who's not going to make a mistake in the field.
So after Tuesday night's game, what's the next step for Virginia? Win or lose, what's the rest of the schedule look like?
A win puts Virginia into essentially the championship round of this 4-team bracket. They'd play Friday night at 8 o'clock. A loss puts Virginia into the losers bracket. They'd play Thursday night at 8 o'clock. If they win that game, then they have to play Friday during the day and then perhaps again Friday night. So obviously for these two teams, it's a must-win situation, even though they've both won a game. Must-win situation for these two teams because if you win the game, you've only got to win one more. If you lose the game, you've got to win 3 more. You've got to beat the winner of the two teams in the losers bracket now, Texas Tech against Ole Miss, and then you've got to beat the team that would beat you tomorrow night twice. So makes the road a lot tougher as far as that goes. And Virginia's been in this situation before. They've actually lost their first game of a College World Series back in 2009. They actually won their first game of a College World Series back in 2011, but then lost game 2, and that threw them into the losers bracket. They did make it back to the final that year against South Carolina, but then lost an extra inning game on a Friday night that eliminated them that year. So a win, and you've only got to win one more, and you have a chance. You have a little bit of a hiccup opportunity on Friday night, but a loss definitely throws you back under the bus, so to speak. And as far as Virginia fans are concerned, they know they've been here before. They know what it feels like, and just one more win, and 21 of the last 24 College World Series champions have gone 2-0 to start their College World Series appearance. So that's the stakes tomorrow night.
Huge stakes tomorrow night. And for all of your coverage of Virginia baseball and all UVA sports, make sure you visit AugustaFreePress.com. You can join Chris Graham as he's blogging the game. Lots of great features at AugustaFreePress.com. And a special podcast segment we did in between games. So stay close and make sure you subscribe on iTunes and continue to keep up with UVA throughout the course of this magical ride. I am your host, Jeff Fife, with AugustaFreePress.com editor Chris Graham. This is UVA Sports Today, Cavalanche.